Right, so we're looking at time and money in terms of the feasibility of our first MVP. And just a quick recap, we had our features, so top right, bottom left, order, and then we used this adapted Fibonacci series, the story point sizes, and we take the smallest one, give it a 2 or a 1, whichever the case you want to start with. I often start with a 2, so that if I find another one is a bit smaller, I can always give it a 1, but it's also such a really big thing, just a little habit of mine. So once we've done that, we can size everything else relative to that. And once we've done all of them, we can total it up and we get to 500 of these story points. So this doesn't say anything yet. Now we say, what is the smallest team that we think could work through this feature backlog and get out the other side and put the solution together? The smallest kind of team. And if now then we start thinking about, you know, what amount of work could this team do then in this across this feature backlog in a 2-week period, these time boxes. Just to go back, the way to think about cost again, to recap, is if it's very software focused, then it's pretty much a proxy for time. It's how much time people think it's going to take. But if it's involving more other elements which involve cost, you need to think of those elements as well to try and come up with this number eventually for how much it'll cost a team like this to go through this, how much they can do over this feature backlog in 2 weeks. Good. So we've got the 2 weeks. And then we say, how much can this team do in this 2-week iteration? And that totals up to some number, let's say 50, to make the maths a bit easier. And then we can say, well, you know, if the total is 500, we can do 50 in a time box period, then that roughly looks like it's going to be about 10 iterations. Fantastic. So in terms of months, that means it's about 20 weeks, which is about 5 months to do this. And in terms of cost, we said it's about $50,000 for every 2-week iteration, and therefore it's going to be about $500,000 to do this. And we also said that if you know the technology space really reasonably well, and you know the business space reasonably well, give yourself a plus minus 10% on uncertainty. If you don't really know it well, if you're sort of new to the space and new to the technology, plus minus 20% is probably a safer range to go for. But let's say plus minus 10%. And that means it's going to be about 9 to 11 iterations and between 4.5 and 5.5 months. Once you've done this, and of course the cost ranging between $450,000 all the way up to $550,000. And once you've gone through this exercise, you can now say, well, you know, if you can get something that sort of looks like this in about this much time for about this much money.
Shall we play a game?
Exactly. Shall we play a game? And I just want to cover one thing with you briefly about trying to maybe increasing the size or decreasing the size. So I'm just going to move quickly back to the flip chart one more time, and we're going to cover that.